Hello student, how are you all? Hope you all are well and fine. I Trupti Bajaj welcome you all again in my channel. We are in chapter number 2, utility analysis, where we completed definition, features, types, concepts, law of DMU, and today we are going to start with criticisms and significance of the law. Criticisms means an expression to do the act of describing drawbacks or bad points of something. Here, something means the criticisms criticized on the law of DMU. Now, let me begin one by one. First is unrealistic assumption. The law of diminishing marginal utility assumes the number of conditions. Let me begins with that one. Which conditions are assumed by the law? First, homogeneity condition, in which the consumption of commodity should be identical in nature. They should be in the perfect size, shape, color, etc. Then it assumes constancy condition, where the factors which affect the law that remain constant means income, likes, taste, habits, dislike, etc. of the consumer that remain constant. Then it assumes continuity condition, in which a consumer should continuously consume the products. Means there should not be any time lag while consumption, and then only you can calculate your utility. Then it assumes rationality condition, which means a consumer is a rational person. So these are the assumptions assumed by the Alfred Marshall. But in reality, these assumptions cannot be implemented at a particular period of a time. Let me take the one example. I took one example of pav bhaji. If you are eating a plates of number of plates of pav bhaji, you can calculate your utility in proper manner. But if we take the only one example of assumption, if some other factor distract you, for example, along with pav bhaji, if I serve you a sweet dish and which you like most, obviously you distract from your consumption and you can consume that sweet dish. So here sweet dish cannot going to implement in your law, in your consumption pattern. So here you cannot measure your utility with the help of consumption of pav bhaji. Second is cardinal measurement. The law assumes that you can measure utility in the form of numbers, that is in cardinal numbers. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4, these numbers are known as cardinal numbers. But in reality, with the help of cardinal numbers, it is very easy for you to calculate, compare, addition, subtraction and presentation these consumption in the form of table. But in reality, cardinal measurement of utility is not possible, because utility is the psychological concept. For example, suppose I got a consumption of pav bhaji, first plate of consumption of pav bhaji, 30 utility, but if you ate the same thing, you cannot derive the same utility from that first plate of pav bhaji. It means person to person it going to be changed. It is the subjective also as well as the psychological also. Next, indivisible goods. Divisible goods are assumed in the law and then only it can be implemented. Divisible goods means which can be divided into smaller parts. So we can easily measure the utility. Indivisible goods means which are bulky in nature, which are indivisible in nature. For example, TV, fridge, washing machine. These are the indivisible goods. Bed, these are the indivisible goods. Generally, individual purchase or consume only a single unit of these products. So here in indivisible goods, our law cannot be get implemented. The next is constant marginal utility of money. Law assumes that marginal utility of money remain constant, but critics criticize that marginal utility of money differ from person to person. For example, poor and rich people are getting different utility from gaining of money, which can be influenced by the changes in price or stock of money which they have. Next is a single want. The law is restricted to satisfaction of single want at the point of time. However, in reality, a man has to satisfy many wants at the point of time. We know that we all are having a numbers of wants and which we want to satisfy, which we want to fulfill with the respective time. At a time, we can satisfy the numbers of wants. So, the law is not going to be implemented also in this particular case. So, here we completed criticisms of the law of DMU. Now, let me begin with the significance of the law. Significance means importance of the law. Now, how it is useful to the economy that we are going to learn in this particular point. First is useful to the consumer. Now see, this law creates awareness among the consumers to obtain maximum utility from the limited resources. So, it will be help to diversify the consumption. In the law, we can measure marginal utility with the consumption of units. So, at this stage, a consumer can satisfy his want where he get the maximum satisfaction. But if he gets the maximum satisfaction, after that he is not going to consume more and more units of the same commodity. He change his want and he is going to divert his demand for another commodity. So it is very useful to the consumer. Once he know his maximum satisfaction of any commodity, he divert his wants, he divert his demand towards the another product. So it is very useful to the consumer. Next is useful to the government. With the help of pattern of consumption of the consumers, once the government come to know, obviously government can set or can frame the policies, tax policies, price policies, trade policies for the different goods. So it is very useful to the government. For example, if government come to know that consumers are demanding necessary goods more, so obviously the tax policy on these goods are very less. Tax which is levied on these goods are less. And when government come to know that consumers are demanding more on comforts, so at that time obviously the tax rate will be very high in that comforts, because government come to know that consumers is having more income and therefore they are spending on more comforts. For example, GST. GST on food products are less, which is almost 5%. But if you choose the comforts, so obviously, for example, AC is the comfort. Okay, so car is the comfort. GST on this car is very high. So it is useful to the government to frame the different policies on the different goods which is consumed by the consumers in a country. Next is basis of paradox value. Now, law assumes that the law of diminishing help marginal utility help you to understand the difference between value in use and value in exchange. It includes that it includes the goods which is having the more value in use and zero or less value in exchange. For example, air, water, these shows value in use, but while diamond, gold, platinum, these shows value in exchange. So it will help you to understand the paradoxical situation in the different goods. The next is basis of law of demand. Student, you learn the one features of utility. It is the basis to law of demand. As I told you, once you know or once you can calculate your utility, you can diversify your demand. A consumer is always calculated his marginal utility with the price, and then he is going to decide how much units of which commodity is consumed. So according to law of demand, the quantity as the quantity demanded of goods rises with the fall in price, and with the increase in price the quantity demanded get decrease. When consumer purchase more and more units of goods, its marginal utility slowly declines. Hence, he would buy additional units of commodity only at a lower price. So, here a consumer want to get the maximum satisfaction with the given price and want to get the more units of commodity with the lower price. So, here this law of DMU creates the base for law of demand. So I think the criticisms as well as the significance are clear to you now. So let me stop here only, and in next lecture, next video, I am going to give you the relationship between marginal utility and price. Thank you so much.